A seismic shift in the wheels of justice is currently unfolding in South Africa, one that signals a critical turning point for how accountability and sovereignty are defined across the entire African continent. While much of the world watches the surface-level headlines, we are witnessing a deep internal movement to reclaim the narrative from old structures. Today, we are diving deep into the Madlanga Commission and the strategic move by Matlala's legal team. This isn't just about one court case, it is about the integrity of the judiciary in a nation that serves as a cornerstone for African leadership. We will break down the history, the current stakes, and why this specific legal battle is being watched by leaders across the continent from Lagos to Nairobi. To understand today's headlines, we have to look back at the evolution of the South African legal landscape since 1994. For decades, the legal system was a battlefield for land rights, economic equity, and the dismantling of colonial vestiges. The judiciary has often been the final arbiter in these struggles. However, as the nation moved into the era of modern governance, the complexity of internal corruption and institutional decay began to test the very limits of the law. This sets the stage for the Madlanga Commission, an entity designed to investigate systemic issues that have plagued the public sector. Now, let us look at the current situation. Matlala's lawyers heading to the Madlanga Commission is a calculated move. They aren't just seeking a legal victory, they are attempting to expose the cracks in the system that have allowed certain interests to flourish while others were sidelined. It is a high-stakes chess game played in front of the cameras and within the halls of power. Some might look at these headlines and see only local news, but we must look deeper. While the global sports media is busy covering events like Pakistan versus South Africa or Mexico versus South Africa, the real power struggle, the one that determines the economic destiny of our people, is happening in these courtrooms. Like this video help more Africans see this story. Let us identify the key players here. We have the legal team representing Matlala, who are positioned as challengers to the status quo. Then we have the Madlanga Commission itself, which represents the state's attempt at self-correction. And finally, we have the public, the silent majority whose lives are directly impacted by the transparency of these proceedings. Each party has a different stake. One seeks justice for an individual, another seeks to clean house for the institution, and the people seek a government that serves them first. Now, we must talk about what this means for our continent. South Africa is not an island, it is a gateway. When the South African legal system stands firm against corruption and internal rot, it sends a message to every other nation in the African Union. It signals that Africa is no longer willing to accept business as usual. This is the essence of the Africa Rising narrative, the transition from being a continent managed by external interests to a continent governed by internal integrity. If South Africa can successfully navigate this legal minefield and establish a transparent, uncorrupted path for justice, it creates a blueprint for our neighbors. It proves that we can hold our own leaders accountable without needing outside intervention. It reinforces the truth that African solutions are needed for African problems. What does this mean for Africa's future? It means a move towards sovereignty. Every time an African lawyer stands up in a court of our own to demand transparency, we move one step closer to a unified, powerful continent that can negotiate with the West on its own terms. We are moving away from being a resource and toward being a powerhouse of governance and law. Subscribe for honest, Pan-African analysis you won't find on CNN or BBC. The Madlanga Commission isn't just about Matlala, it is a test case for the resilience of African institutions. If they succeed in purging the system of waste and corruption, South Africa will be even better positioned to lead the continent into the next decade of prosperity. We are watching history unfold. The question is no longer whether we can change, it is how fast we can reclaim our systems from those who would see them fail. Check out this next video where we break down the rise of African tech hubs across the continent. The growth we are seeing today is just the beginning. What do you think about the Madlanga Commission's role in South African politics? Do you believe local legal victories are the key to national sovereignty? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Let's keep the conversation going. Outro music.